Here we are for another round of the 70s versus the 90s, and it's wedding season when I put Robert Altman's A Wedding against Mike Newell's Four Weddings and a Funeral. And now, this episode is going to be a little different than the previous episodes because the thing about it is, neither one of these movies have a plot, so to speak. You know, with both of these movies, you get exactly what the title says. Robert Altman's A Wedding literally is a wedding. And Mike Newell's Four Weddings and a Funeral is exactly that. Or as Al Bundy says, five of the same thing. You know, so let's just dissect why one is better than the other and all that jazz. Because first off, both movies deal with all the cliches of weddings and stuff. Most blatantly, though, Four Weddings and a Funeral does that. And what's kind of crazy is Robert Altman does it all in one wedding. He doesn't need four weddings to make his point. You know, he makes a whole 2-hour movie about a specific wedding. You know, it starts with that. And the thing about it is Robert Altman will always be one of the greatest filmmakers of all time. I don't really think any filmmaker can touch what Altman had. You know, a lot of people talk shit about Altman because they just don't want to admit that controlled chaos can be fucking genius, and it can. There's been a few directors that have come close to getting on Altman's level, most specifically Paul Thomas Anderson. But that signature Altman opening where it's like stuff starts out so clean and then it just breaks, you know, the beauty is in the imperfections. And that's what Altman was trying to capture. He's trying to capture life in film. And he doubles the amount of he doubles the size of the group that he dealt with in his masterpiece Nashville to do a wedding. And it starts with the wedding ceremony, and then it goes through the reception and all this stuff. And each character, you know, no matter how minuscule that character is on point. You know, there are plenty of actual actors in this movie. A lot of them had worked with Altman before, like Nina von Palant, most notably from The Long Goodbye, and also in Quintet, which nobody probably even saw or gave a fuck about. And then of course you get other ones like Paul Dooley, who was in a many number of his films and stuff, and a few other ones that escape me at the moment. But other ones that are in this film include Vittorio Gassman, the great Italian actor, Carol Burnett, one of the great comedians of her time, and of course Mia Farrow, who was more of a regular in Woody Allen films. She was like on that trajectory of she was in between Frank Sinatra and Woody Allen at this point, and a whole plethora of Desi Arnaz Jr. and Pat McCormick. You know, just it's endless actors in this film. You know, because there's a lot of motherfuckers in the movie. Now, as far as acting goes for these movies, I would say A Wedding surpasses it because every single person in A Wedding is great. When it comes to Four Weddings and a Funeral, the side characters are more interesting than the main actors. Now, Four Weddings and a Funeral is the movie that made Hugh Grant a romantic lead. How the fuck that happened, I don't know, but it gave us, 20 years of generic white bread Hugh Grant, you know. And also Andy McDowell, who is not nowhere near as interesting as she was in Sex, Lies, and Videotape. And this movie kind of just put her in more lame movies, you know. And what's fucked up is they kill off the most interesting character in the film, which is who. Now, I previously did Hollywood Boulevard versus Shakespeare in Love, and I didn't know the name of the actor that goes, "Notice will be posted." And that actor is Simon Callow, and he is easily the best one in Four Weddings and a Funeral. Not to mention the lovely Kristen Scott Thomas. Fucking amazing. And now, the death in a wedding is the fucking legendary actress Lillian Gish, who was D.W. Griffith's main actress. And it's kind of the way that's set up, because like the mother dies right as the wedding ends, and then that's all of a secret. They got to deal with that. And one of her nurses or doctors, whatever, whoever the hell Randolph was in that scenario, but he's also banging one of her daughters. That's all. There's so many layers to a wedding that it's just absolutely brilliant. And Altman has it all here, way more than what Four Weddings and a Funeral. He even got a gay character in it, subtly so. He's not as overt, but and honestly, even in Four Weddings and a Funeral, John Hannah and Simon Callow's characters, like, we all know that they're gay. They don't make a big deal about it. It's actually like, and honestly, John Hannah is another great actor in Four Weddings and a Funeral. His eulogy that he gives at Simon Callow's funeral might be the most beautiful moment in Four Weddings and a Funeral. That's because Four Weddings and a Funeral is just a pile of shit. It's like, the thing about it is Four Weddings and a Funeral starts off so strong. It has a very strong start, but it's just all downhill from here, because what fucking irks me about Four Weddings and a Funeral is it's the same thing that always irks me about these fucking rom-coms. Is like, okay, I get it. Andy McDowell is very sultry, you know, but he banged her at a wedding once. They didn't see each other for, like, it was like till another wedding. I forget exactly what it was, like a month or so, like however the fuck long it took to get to the next wedding. And he hadn't seen or heard from his Caesar. It's like, oh, this is a bloody great wedding. Called it too soon, motherfucker, because then it becomes the wedding from hell and shit. Now, I say this, these writers probably thought they were clever, but god damn it, British comedies are usually a lot funnier than this. There's not a lot of funny moments in it. Yeah, sure, there's cliches and fucking tropes out the wazoo, but it just doesn't have that power that a wedding has. Because with a wedding, they have the irony, the comic irony is so great. Like, like the mother dying before or like grandmother or whatever, the matriarch of the family dying before the reception, and then everybody going through all that stuff, and the doctor that's always fucking having to have a drink, and all these secrets that are going around because like Mia Farrow's mad because fucking her sister Muffy is like marrying the dude that she wants and some shit. And then you got the fucking crazy ass aunt or whatever the fuck that paints the picture of a muffin nude and shit. But the best one is that fucking ending, because like they all think that the newlyweds died in a car accident, but turns out somebody else took the car. Some other couple took the car, and it's like, where it's still tragic that couple died, everybody's just so relieved that the newlyweds didn't die. Now that's that pure Altman irony that just like not a lot of people understood and not a lot of people could pull off, but Altman could, because the motherfucker was the master. Now Mike Newell, very serviceable. He can get people to hit their marks, but outside of Donnie Brasco, I couldn't tell you a great Mike Newell film, honestly. And it sure as hell ain't Four Weddings and a Funeral. Because, like I said, that whole bullshit of like, oh, fuck, this is the woman I'm in love with, You banged her once at a wedding, and then she banged you again, even though she was engaged to some fucking douche nugget. And then y'all fucking have a little fucking thing. You're being a cuck, fucking helping her, watching her try on wedding dresses and shit. And then you tell her I love you, trying to quote David Cassidy, like that's the only motherfucker that ever said I think I love you. Fuck off with this bullshit. And and then like that ending is so fucking trash, because here's the thing, like that whole, because he goes to her wedding, and then the dude dies at that wedding, and then fucking he's getting married to the fucking chick that he probably should have married a long time ago, and plus, why couldn't he have just married the fucking friend? Kristen Scott Thomas proclaims that she's been in love with him this whole fucking time, and he clearly has something there. Why didn't they give it a go? Hell, that would have been way more interesting if they ended up getting married. Or for that matter, maybe he just goes through with it. Maybe he just chooses to be miserable like the English do. But no. And also, too, the fucking pairing of fucking Hugh Grant and Andy McDowell, it's like, talk about wanting to fuck your American cousin. They look fucking related. Like, this shit is annoying. It's fucking lame. And this was like it was like one of the great romantic comedies of the 90s. And it's fucking garbage. Cause then he's like, oh, I'm gonna fucking leave this chick at the altar who's already emotionally damaged by me, and then fucking go for this other chick who just, oh, she's separated now. Oh, so this is a sign that I should fucking, and then like, but I'm gonna like propose marriage to her, but not propose marriage to her. And it's like, I want to spend the rest of my life with you, but I don't want to get married. And it's like, you might as well get fucking married. So it's like, this movie doesn't even understand what fucking point it's trying to make. And then it has that fucking little slideshow where everybody ends up with who they want to. Fucking lame. Whereas a wedding, like, it just fucking has that fucking ironic ending, and it ends on such a somber note. Like weddings are more like a fucking funeral, or it makes you feel like you want to die, And so what Altman did with a wedding was way more than what Mike Newell did with four weddings and a funeral. He wrapped it all up in one and did it way fucking better. So clearly, this round has to go to a wedding. One, like I said, Robert Altman's a far superior director to Mike Newell. Two, the acting is way fucking better for a fucking film that has twice the amount of cast. Altman deals with it like each fucking character is so delicately done that it's fucking chef's kiss, And that fucking, and there's no lame ass fucking romantic arc, that just makes you want to hurl chunks, fucking Exorcist style. And just three, it ain't fucking lame. So for anybody keeping score, that is 99 to 82. 70s are up by 17 now. Like they just broke that little 2-film streak that the 90s were on because fuck, dude, when you have fucking hot trash garbage like four weddings and a funeral, there's no way you can fucking win. Wedding by a fucking mile. So if I've said anything wrong, anything you disagree with, feel free to eviscerate me in the comments. I mean, this is just one asshole's opinion on a very long, self-indulgent journey to figure out which decade was better for movies, the 70s or the 90s. My money's still on the 70s, and it's looking like I'm right, but I still got a long way to go before I can officially say I'm right. But if they keep throwing me trash like four weddings and a funeral, there's no way the 70s can fucking lose. And and like I said too, if you comment, I'm gonna respond because I clearly have no life. I'm obviously insane. I'm wearing a fucking suit and a tinsel wig. So you answer that question. And one thing too, the biggest takeaway is maybe I need to go to more weddings. Maybe I'd get laid more if I'd go to weddings, but maybe not in this tinsel wig. So fuck it. Throw your life away. Get married.